hours is not enough for me from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Central here on the Genesis Network. I am now here sitting in the cockpit again, and Jason Bermas is riding shotgun with me, and will be chiming in with comments. There is a lot to get into. The Pawlowski smear debunked, cop killer held opposing views to InfoWars. We learned this from the ADL. They attacked me today in a huge ADL report, but then they had to admit, actually, that this guy didn't like me. So we actually found out that he'd been posting on InfoWars, and we then went, and it turns out the newspaper that first attacked me Sunday knew this all along. Mm-hmm. They knew his handle. They talked to the police. They'd done the search all over the web. They'd found him on InfoWars, and they'd found out that he didn't like me and said I was covering up for the Zionists.
Yeah, they said that your conspiracy theory hate-mongering is what led him to do this. I mean, those are like almost actual quotes. Raw Story is the only people that have actually retracted it, as far as I know.
Exactly, but I mean, it's completely made up, out of whole cloth. And the issue is, we criticize Israel for running over people with tanks. We criticize them for their apartheid top operations. That enrages the white supremacists and Nazis even more because, I mean, again, I don't like what Israel does, and I criticize Israel, but there's nothing more unsavory. And the way the Nazis all infight with each other, too. I mean, I am glad they don't like me. That is a badge of honor. But really, they're just jealous of anybody that can put two stones on top of each other and can build anything. And, same thing with the black nationals that hate me and, say they're the God race. I mean, I don't like the Zionists saying they're the God race. I don't like the Nazis saying they're the God race. I don't like the black Israelites saying they're the God race. I'm tired of your crap. Just stay the hell away from me. Go out, do whatever you want, run around and decide you're, the God race all day, somewhere away from me. I'm trying to fight the New World Order, globalism, the central banks, and I've got documents and mainline issues. So that's coming up, major debunking of these guys. It's up on InfoWars.com right now. Now, that said, Glenn Beck and the debunking that he is engaged in, if we go back to the shows I did 3 weeks ago when Glenn Beck was saying, I'm going to expose the FEMA camps. It looks like they may be real. And I said, folks, I've watched this weasel for years. This is going to be a hit piece. He's doing this to get everybody's confidence. This is the guy that said Ron Paul supporters are terrorists. Tim McVeigh's used the army on them. They're enemies, they're domestic enemies. This is the guy who I knew was reading off ADL and Southern Poverty Law Center scripts. I've heard all this before. I knew he was being handed scripts at CNN. So then he goes to Fox, and he'll always talk about the New World Order and say, next, it's the Muslims. We've got to nuke them, and start these wars. And I said, how is anybody falling for Glenn Beck, who just radiates insincerity and sliminess and fakeness, and his 9/12 movement to co-opt the Patriot movement? And I said, you watch. He's going to come out and debunk them, and he's going to say that it is, I give two examples. I said he's going to go look at the Amtrak trains in Indiana and Illinois, one of the two, and he's going to say, look at it with barbed wire fences. It's just a shut down Amtrak. It's not a FEMA camp. Which is true. And that's Linda Thompson, who put out the fake Waco information that then discredited all the serious info, the flaming tank. Delta Force was there on FLIR shooting everybody, but no. She puts out flaming tank, and then that discredits it. And I predicted that, also predicted that they would cover some NATO training bases in Mississippi and Louisiana that have barbed wire fences around them or set up to be camps, practicing what it's like in the Balkans. Refugee camps, because, I'd seen it. We'd traveled there. We knew that indeed it was a foreign training base for U.S. troops to train in a foreign environment, and that it had, Slavic stuff on the road signs to get them ready. And we'd seen the raw footage of Cooperative Nugget and other training events where they would then do dual training for the U.S. and overseas and have role players who were playing the parts of Americans and then role players playing the parts of Serbs and others. So I predicted that it would be one of those two things. And today, again, And I'd like some of the listeners to go pull the stuff up from 3-4 weeks ago and last week. We've just been so busy and the limited staff getting ready for Bermas' show. We looked for about an hour and couldn't find it. So I said, wait a minute, I mentioned it again today. So here is from today, before Fox aired, hours before. Here's where I just mentioned the type of straw man arguments they were going to use. Here's the video from that for folks watching at prisonplanet.tv. Folks listening on the radio, you'll hear the audio. In this presentation, I would ask listeners to check out every claim we're going to make for yourself, because the biggest problem we do have going for us is that most of the stuff I see on the internet is speculation or rumors, or they'll go show a closed Amtrak station and they'll say this is a FEMA camp. And they'll show the ticketing area where it'll have red signs for these tickets and blue signs for those ticket holders, and it's not a FEMA camp. And when Glenn Beck does his debunking, he says he's going to do tonight, I have predicted that he will go with the straw man argument. He will show where people have been looking for FEMA camps and been incorrect, instead of all of this material that he won't touch. Now, I'm told he went ahead and covered it on his radio show today and did, quote, debunk things, and it's on TV tonight as well. But we're going to go ahead and go through all this, and then you can go back and see his debunking and see if our predictions were right, the predictions I've made for the last few weeks. Stay with us. We'll go through it all when we get back. Okay, so that was live today. A lot of you watched that or listened to that. And then again, we don't have the staff. Go pull the stuff from 3 weeks ago and last week where I predicted it. And the issue here is, regardless, he's now come out with Popular Mechanics, the slime bags, and done exactly what I said. We're going to play the very video they played tonight, and with millions of views on YouTube, and then we're going to play what Glenn Beck actually had to say and break it down piece by piece with Jason Bermas. And this isn't about Glenn Beck. He's just a front man. But he is a knowing betrayer. He is an operative. If you want to see a real dyed-in-the-wool government operative, there's no doubt he's the real McCoy. He is getting daily Pentagon briefings. This is an operative. Normally they're just co-opted or controlled or already have a worldview the globalists like. With Glenn Beck, this is a operative. He is following, probably getting direct ADL orders. Okay, so this guy is bad. I mean, it's one thing to be New World Order and be admitted about it. You know, I respect Henry Kissinger and Rothkopf and all these elitists. I don't like them, but at least they admit what they are. With Beck, he's worse than Benedict Arnold. He saddles up next to you, sidles up, and acts all friendly. And then I've noticed him on, like, O'Reilly and stuff. When he talks about Patriot stuff, he acts kooky and crazy, but says he agrees with us. He'll play the clown and look stupid when he talks about it and agrees with it. Then he'll act all serious when he's debunking it. He's a psyop, but I think he's a crappy one. I mean, but I guess they've got to get crap to stab America in the back. I mean, this is the level of crap. And you've got all these neocon followers who've woken up the Republicans and Democrats both being bad and are upset about Obama. And it's Beck's job and Fox News' job. By the way, Rupert Murdoch gave money to Hillary and Obama to keep these guys on the reservation and to keep them under control. And there's rallies Beck's having all over the country where he teaches you there aren't FEMA camps, 9/11 wasn't an inside job, the government's basically good. And again, he'll talk about the New World Order, but then say, we've got to go ahead and nuke Iran. Bermas, before we play the Glenn Beck clip, your comments on all of this.
Well, I think it's especially disturbing because Glenn Beck is co-opting all these semi-awakened masses that we're seeing. You know, they understand that what's going on with the GIVE Act and the gun confiscations and the entire Obama administration, there's something wrong there. But at the same time, they don't understand that 9/11 was an inside job. And
by the way, he's going to betray them on all of those. Yeah. He's going to betray him on the gun confiscation. He's going to betray him after some huge mass shooting with 75 dead at a school or something, or at a mall. That's what I'm predicting coming very soon, unfortunately. God, I hate these people. He'll then say, I'm sorry, I'm for guns, but we got to register them. They're terrorists that have them. I'm sorry. Ugh.
I couldn't agree more, Alex. And what is really disgusting is that he's taking the Tea Party thing. And the Tea Party thing...
That was already spontaneous nationwide. He's co-opting.
With true 9/11 truthers and people who are against the IRS. I mean, actual patriots. And now he's taking that away from us. And he's bringing all these other people in, so when we go and talk to these other people, we're the kooks. We're the nuts.
Oh, they've been commenting on InfoWars and Prison Planet. I'm sick of you 9/11 bastards and Ron Paul people. Get the hell out of our 9/12 meetings.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
They'll come to our Glenn Beck events and, yeah, you ought to go to the Glenn Beck events. Half of them are 9/11 truthers. And Beck's got to hate it. So let's use their propaganda against them. Let's go to all of their events with copies of the Obama Deception and Terror Storm and Loose Change Final Cut and Fabled Enemies.
And this right here.
Yeah. Bermas is going to burn on disc for people all the mainline government documents. I mean, you can go to army.mil and read about the list of FEMA camps, and Americans are already in them, okay? You can go read this right now for yourself. This isn't some train station in Illinois, folks. This is the real deal, and that's coming up. But you can also do activism, like take the PrisonPlanet.tv show I did. You just saw a little clip of it, an hour and 40 minutes long, roughly, and get that out to everybody when it's free on the Alex Jones channel. Nothing can stop you, at least for now. Mother Jones admits Obama's basically shutting the web down. And this isn't Alex saying it, it's the liberals saying it. They say, should he do it? But you're absolutely right. We've got to counter Beck. I'm telling you, Beck is a key attack. He's a Benedict Arnold in our midst.
Yeah, no, he is a real big psyop right now. And that's why we're going to be going down to San Antonio on April 15th with copies of the Civilian Inmate Labor Program, copies of the Obama Deception.